the options that it gives you. It just opens up just a ton more opportunities to get yourself in front of deer. Oh, there's a buck. There is a buck. There's a buck. Okay, hold on. Time and temperature check. It is 7:20. It's 24 degrees, and it is snowing. It is Sunday and Sunday morning. My bow is tuned and ready to go. So I'm down here where I missed the doe on the last snowy hunt that I had. And on that Sunday 2 weeks ago, I saw 29 deer between my morning and afternoon sits. So I'm hoping I can replicate some magic here and get another shot at a doe. I'd take a buck if it comes through. And I probably wouldn't wait for a giant. I gotta fill tags. There's only a few weeks left in the season. I need meat in the freezer. That's the bottom line. So that's what I'm doing today, filling a freezer. It's a quiet morning. Wind is about 10 miles an hour. And it's blowing perfectly into my face, blowing behind me. And behind me you can see I have some conifers. So it is a quiet morning though. So it's going to be all about what I can see, because I don't think I'm going to hear anything. My fat rear end was able to sneak in here almost dead silent. So we're looking for movement. That's all we're doing. So 8 o'clock, nothing's moving yet. So I'm going to give it about another hour, then go in and get ready for church. And they might just be holding a little tight with the snow. I thought that being down in this hollow here, I'm kind of between two hills in a creek bottom. I thought they'd come down here to feed and get out of the wind. So, still possible. Squirrels are moving. The wind and snow have picked up significantly, so I am going to back out of here. And I'm going to come for the afternoon sit, hoping that things calm down a little bit. I've just got a feeling that deer are going to be bedded right now, but if this lets up in the afternoon, they should be coming up. Well, it's getting to be about lunchtime here, and the snow is not letting up at all. So we're going to keep an eye on the weather here. I think I'll go out almost regardless of whether this lets up or not. Time to go hunting. I'm within 25 yards of a doe that I found bedding, and I've stalked up to her. I saw her from about 45 yards. I'm within 25 yards from her, but she is on full alert. The shot is not as clear as it looks. There's a lot of brush at ground level here, so I'm just trying to be really slow and patient here and try to get a good shot at her. She's facing away from me at about 30 yards, and I'm afraid the opportunity might be lost here. The wind is absolutely in my favor. It couldn't be better. But she's just slowly meandering away from me. Golly, she's a nice doe too. Yeah, she's gotten herself back out to about 35 or 40 yards. So the thing is now, she's not spooked at all, and I just have to wait her out before I can get into my tree. So I'm in a good spot. The wind's in my favor. Another opportunity may arise, but that was cool. I had like what I would consider a 50-50 shot at 25 yards. It could have gone either way. And I just don't like those odds. I don't like a coin flip, especially on a mature doe, on any deer. Just not worth losing an animal. Okay, time and temperature check. It is 3:14 on Sunday, December, whatever day it is. I want to say the 5th for some reason, but I know that ain't right. No, I think it is the 5th. So, I was on that stalk for about 40 minutes or so, 30 minutes. And then it took me about 10 minutes to get situated up here in the saddle. I left everything up from this morning, my sticks and my platform, but it is dead silent. It is dead silent, and I lost sight of that doe, I'm sure, long before she lost sight of me. And so I just had to really take my time. You know, deer's eyes are keyed in on movements, right? So I can't move too fast. I was about 25 yards from my stand, and it took me probably 5 or 10 minutes to just slowly walk over here, take advantage of the trees that were between us. Now, as I look, I realize that that doe was across the property line, and it was on Randy's property, who I talked to, the neighbor, you know. So I think I probably could have shot that deer and been okay, you know, the more I re-examine the shot in my mind. But the reality is that Randy gave me permission to track deer onto his property, but he never gave me permission to shoot across the property line. I want to talk a little bit about saddle hunting, especially if you're fat, if you're a big guy, and that's definitely a legitimate concern. Should big guys put their trust in all these ropes and knots for saddle hunting? And thin straps and things like that. When I'm fully dressed for hunting, right now in the morning, I weigh about 254 pounds. So I'm easily 265 pounds when I'm all decked out for hunting, okay? I want you to think about, if you're considering saddle hunting, but you're a big guy, you're not athletic, things take you longer, maybe you're older, I'm 47. All it is time. You just have to give yourself extra time. That's it. I want to encourage you to do it. Whatever your budget is, get what's right for your budget. And I say this because I see this question a lot on saddle hunting groups on Facebook. I see it on Instagram. You know, is this really for big guys? I worried about it. I did. But, you know, I've been using harnesses and tree stands for a long time, and lineman's ropes to set up tree stands and stuff. So I kind of got the principle of it. But I'll tell you, I think that you should do it. But what you need to understand is that you're just not going to do it as quickly as a 22-year-old guy who, you know, is 6%, 8% body fat, natural athlete, stuff like that. But what you need is, what you lack in athleticism, you have an experience. You know, if you've been bow hunting whitetail for a long time, and I'm saying 20 plus years, you've been hunting over food plots or hunting public land, it doesn't matter. You know how deer relate to the land. You need to use that knowledge. And this saddle gives you such an advantage of the multiple options that you have to get yourself in position for a deer. You just need to give yourself time. So give yourself 30 minutes to be ready to shoot, you know? So if you have a tree stand and it's a half-hour walk to your tree stand, it's 5 minutes to get climbed up, settled in, set up, get an arrow knocked and everything. With your saddle, if you're going 20 feet in the air with 4 sticks and a platform, give yourself 30 to 45 minutes. Just give yourself time. You won't regret it. Take your time. Be safe. And, you know, like me, I double up. I have 2 bridges I run because of my weight, right? I'm constantly checking my ropes. I'm constantly checking my carabiners. I'm constantly checking everything. And it's my phobia. It's not a flaw with the system. It's my fear that makes me do that. So if you're a big guy, please don't hesitate to use a saddle. If you have the means to do it, if you have the money for it, because it's not, I mean, it can be cheap. There's a ton of do-it-yourself options on YouTube, but the options that it gives you, it just opens up just a ton more opportunities to get yourself in front of deer. Oh, there's a buck. There is a buck. He was right on the other side of these conifers, and there was just no shot. There's no shot at him. I'm kind of hoping he might circle around. The wind was perfect. Golly, that was a nice buck. Probably a 3.5-year-old. Looked like a good 8 or 10 pointer. I just have to hope he circles back around. He's going toward the backyards, which means he could go to the top of the hill to the bedding areas. He could circle back down here. He might be cruising for late does. He just might be cruising for late does. I mammed him, he stopped. But he just ultimately kept going along his merry way, so, oh man. And he came out right where I was stalking that doe. Man, I love bow hunting. That's what it's about. So as I was saying, this saddle put me in this spot. And, you know, I could stand on the other side of those conifers. I could move in about 45 minutes. And could have been, that buck got within 47 yards. On the other side of the conifers, I didn't have a realistic shot, conifers or not. 47 yards is just out of my range for an ethical shot. So, but man, I think that kind of makes my point here is the flexibility that I have seeing that buck and putting myself, there's nowhere for me to hang my climber down here. I can tell you that. I've done a lot of panoramic views of this area in these videos, so I'm not going to do it again, but I can tell you, there is no tree I can put a climber in. They're either too big, they lean too much, they have too many branches. This is not a place for a climber. I got a climber 80 yards up the hill, and he kind of split the difference, honestly. if I had been in my climber. First of all, the wind wouldn't have been in my favor, so he may not have come out in the first place. But let's say he had, I probably still would have been looking at a 40-plus yard shot. So, with all that being said, I've got 50 minutes of daylight left, and I'm pumped. I am pumped. So, you're not too fat for a saddle. You just have to know your limits and give yourself plenty of time. That's my point. In case you wonder if the second rut is real, I have a small 6-point buck chasing a doe about 40 yards in front of me. They're in the thicket, so I'll see if I can catch it on video. Gosh, they're still out there. The fawn is just on the other side with her. It nose straight up in the air looking in my direction, but I'm able to hide behind the tree here. And I got her mama and another doe. Looks like a yearling, maybe last year's fawn. And then that little buck, all traveling together. They just don't like what's going on over here. But that buck is harassing them too. That buck is chasing that doe right up the hill. I was absolutely gonna take that little yearling. I kind of kicked it around while I watched her work at the edge of my range. And I was debating, well, you know, I've seen 2 bucks in the last 45 minutes. But the day is winding down, but so is the year. I might have taken a shot at that little 6-pointer if it gave me an opportunity, because a 6-point buck in town is better than tag soup. So, but she never came into range. The closest she got was 35 yards, and that's just, I don't have enough confidence. I don't know, maybe I should have taken that shot. But it's one of those things you always second guess, man. At least I do. I always second guess myself. But I fully planned. I hit my range. I knew where my 30, 25, and 20 yards were as I watched her working the edge of those conifers. She comes inside those conifers, she's dead. She walked to the outside of them just like that buck did. So, actually a little closer than that buck, but I think I gotta find a spot on the other side of those conifers.